Hey guys, how you doing? Hopefully you're doing okay. I'm going to read through the full details of the article in a moment. I'm going to start off with an overview. There's a link in the description. Essentially, just to give you the short overview to begin with, it's in regards to this scumbag that you see in front of you. His name is Zong Tao Chen, also known as Mark Chen, 49 years of age, from Toronto, Ontario, Canada. And he's pled guilty. Where does it say that? He's pled guilty to running a criminal enterprise that recruited women, primarily from China, to travel to the United States and elsewhere to engage in prostitution and other sex trafficking activities. Sex trafficking, well, what does that mean? Well, I'm quite sure it means prostitution against their will. So, forcing women into prostitution, forcing them into prostitution. So apparently, he had dozens of brothels that he was responsible for operating. He was in a leadership role of an international sex trafficking organization, and these brothels operated in the United States, Canada, and Australia, and primarily the prostitutes being sex trafficked were Asians, I believe primarily from China. So he's pled guilty. Where does it say that? Hang on, let me just find that part. Yeah, he pled guilty. All right, so he was extradited to the United States March the 4th, and he pled guilty. He's admitted to having been a kingpin, having a leadership role in an international sex trafficking organization operating dozens of illegal brothels, mostly with Asian prostitutes, around the United States, Canada, and Australia. Guess how much this scumbag was sentenced for? Guess how long he was sentenced for? That's right, 2 years. That's all. 2 years in federal prison, as well as 3 years supervised release. 2 years for being an international sex trafficking ring leader. It's not bad, is it? He must have some pretty good lawyers. I'm being a little bit facetious here, and I will be honest. What is the definition of sex trafficking? I'm interpreting that as meaning that the prostitutes were, in at least in some ways, being held without their will. They were being taken advantage of. So let's have a look at this definition. Sex trafficking is defined by the Trafficking Victims Protection Act of 2000. I don't know if that's a US thing or not. Perhaps it is. The recruitment, harboring, transportation, provision, obtaining, patronizing, or soliciting of a person for the purpose of a commercial sex act. It involves the use of force, fraud, or coercion to make an adult engage in commercial sex. Okay, all right. So yeah, okay, that's what I thought it meant. It involves force, fraud, or coercion. So essentially, these prostitutes aren't. They're at least not entirely willing partners. They may be willing to a certain degree, and I don't wish for that to be an offensive comment. If it is, tell me why it is, and I'll have a look at that. But yeah, sex trafficking, essentially forcing, coercing, or otherwise being fraudulent in regards to, having these Asian women prostitutes sleeping with multiple men every day within brothels around the United States, Canada, and Australia. How much money would he and his cohorts have made? Here's my guess. Quite a lot. 2 years in prison. Fuck that. What if you don't pay your electricity bill? You probably, I'm speculating to a degree. I remember reading through a case of a woman who had committed fraud. She had abused the personal contact details of her daughter, if I remember correctly. And she got something like 7 years in jail, something like that. That's off the top of my head. That's not accurate, but it's roughly correct. For doing a little bit of fraud to the tune of, let's say, $10,000, $20,000, something like that, she got 7 years in jail. I think, or several years in jail. This guy, a kingpin of an international sex trafficking organization, forcing what? Hundreds, thousands, tens of thousands? I don't know how many Asian women were forced into prostitution or coerced into prostitution by the sex trafficking ring that this guy was a leader of. But it's going to be quite a few women, dozens of brothels across the United States, Canada, and Australia. And he gets 2 years in prison. That's fucking sick. I'm going to try to stop swearing in these videos, by the way. It's probably not doing me much help on the old algorithms, I think. But that is sick. What's wrong with you guys, Ontario, Toronto? Or was it them that made... No, actually, it was Portland. Portland is to blame. Portland, Oregon. He was extradited to Portland, Oregon, and Portland said, "Oh, don't worry about it, mate. You're Canadian. We like Canadians." Oh, it was only a few dozen brothels, was it? Oh, okay, yeah, no, not a big deal. Not a big deal, mate. We'll give you a couple of years in jail, then a few years supervised release. Everything will be fine, mate. Don't worry about it. Not a big deal. Basically, Portland, Oregon's approach. What a disgrace. I'm going to wrap things up here, guys. If I've done a half-decent job in covering this topic and making you aware of the topic, please do like, comment, subscribe, share the video as you see fit. I am purportedly receiving donations. There is a link in the description. If that's your cup of tea, then perhaps buy me a coffee, and that will be much, much appreciated. But for now, I'm going to ask you to like, comment, subscribe, share the video. Going to make 1 or 2 more videos this evening. And stick around. I'm trying, and I'm doing pretty well in pumping out multiple videos a day. Some days it goes a little slower than others, but anyway, I'll leave you to it for now. Thanks.